seht, das Spiel wurde von einem Hauptteam aus 3 Personen entwickelt, über 4 Jahre. Rätselabenteuer. Okay, okay. Das Schicksal der Stadt liegt in meiner Hand. Das ging jetzt alles ein bisschen schnell. Naja, mal gucken.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Körpertyp auswählen. Immer das. Schokolade weiß ich noch nicht. Ey! Am Tippen.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Ich war auf der Suche nach antiken Ruinen. Ich war auf einer Geheimmission. Ich war auf der Flucht vor dem Gesetz. Ich erinnere mich an kaum etwas. Ein jahrelanges Studium der Geschichte gibt Einblicke in die Welt der Antike. Du hast eine vom Militär ausgegebene Schusswaffe, aber nur 10 Kugeln. Du musst sie mit Bedacht einsetzen, denn es gibt keine Möglichkeit, neue zu bekommen. Deine Zeit auf der Flucht vor den Behörden hat dich zu einem guten Läufer gemacht. Du bist 25% schneller beim Sprinten. Nur dein kürzlich aufgetretenes Kopftrauma hat deine Schmerztoleranz erhöht, sodass du 50% schwerer auszuschalten bist. Oha. Also, ein normaler Typ mit der Knarre, ne? Kopf durch die Wand. Oh. Ja. Das schafft Krimi nicht. Wow. Ich glaube, bei Projekt Zombioid, wenn ich das jemals mitspielen soll, jage ich keine Zombies, sondern Kesko. Ich nehme mal das.
Really? You're a soldier?
Ich nehme mal das Soldatending.
Why are you out of uniform? Oh, was it a black op? Are you a soldier of fortune? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't think I want to know. But this should be a piece of cake for someone like you. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him. If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
Okay, ich muss L irgendwie finden.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
Was ist deine Geschichte?
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
Willst du mir nicht mal deinen Namen sagen?
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Ich würde wirklich gerne wissen, besonders wenn ich dir helfen soll.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey. It's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Vielen Dank, dass du mein Leben gerettet hast, Karen.
You're welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Wer ist L?
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
Wo sind wir?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber.
Was kannst du mir über die Ruinen erzählen?
Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
Hast du versucht, um Hilfe zu rufen?
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
Das war alles.
Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
In Ordnung.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry.
Mhm. Bewege dich mit WASD. Okay. Ich das nehmen da? Hier ist Fisch. Okay. Oh, das ruckelt aber. Oi, oi, oi. Mit Taschenlampe. Boom. Ah. Sind da Knarre drin. Dritte Ruinen. Ja. Also das Spiel ist so ein bisschen untergegangen, aber wenn man so auf Steam guckt, die Bewertung äußert positiv. Naja, das muss ja irgendwas können, ne? Shift zum Sprinten gedrückt halten. Ja. Okay. Soll auf jeden Fall ein Adventure sein. Ein Rucksack voll mit abgetragener Wanderkleidung und leeren Essenspaketen. Nichts Wertvolles dabei, aber trotzdem scheint es seltsam, dass Elle ihn zurückgelassen hat. Ziehen. Gegenstand untersuchen. Ist ja da jetzt nichts Besonderes am Rucksack. Eine Pistole kann Licht schießen, na klar. Hm? Siehst du mal. Hm. Kannst auch nicht irgendwie aufmachen, ne? Nö. Okay. Schade. Ein Zettel.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time?
Mhm.
Could people have survived down there, against the odds?
Ah! Was war das? Ich hab noch nicht mal was angerührt. Ich wollte doch noch inspizieren. Hallo? Hallo? Wir hatten da ein Loch hingemacht. Unglaublich, ey. Kannst du noch nicht mal in Ruhe die Sachen inspizieren hier. Zack, fliegst du schon in die nächste Etage hier. Das war jetzt eigentlich nicht geplant.
It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation. Or a warning. Alworth.
Ja. Das leckt aber manchmal ganz schön, ne? Muss ich mal gucken, aber ich glaube nicht, dass man Audio auf German umstellen kann oder so. Jetzt nicht vorstellen. Sprache Deutsch, ja, das ist okay. Untertitel, ja. Ich glaube, die Audio bleibt in Englisch, okay. Na gut, wir verstehen es ja irgendwie. Müssen wir halt aufpassen und lesen. So, dann gucken wir mal. Jetzt mal die Knarre wegstecken. Das macht mich ganz kirre. Was? Eric Disney? Ist das wer? Schöne Statuen hier. Eine junge Römerin in einer Pose der Wehklage. Hä? So, jetzt macht sie keine Pose der Wehklage mehr. Verzeihung. Irgendwie macht nur wieder Blödsinn. Der schändet schon wieder die Ruinen hier. Der Zwerg. Ein römischer Gladiator in Laufhaltung. Was könnte ein Gladiator in die Flucht geschlagen haben? Remy macht schon wieder alles kaputt. Klar. Dafür bin ich doch da. Dafür stehe ich mit meinem Namen. Okay. Irgendwer ist hier. So, jetzt hast du das Spiel verabschiedet. Ja, Mahlzeit. Ja, Mensch. So viel zu The Forgotten City, oder wie? Ah, jetzt. 3 Stunden später. Naja. Das leckt aber ganz schön, alter Schwede, ey. Und ich muss mal was umstellen. Eine junge Römerin. Sie sieht aus, als hätte sie um ihr Leben gebettelt. Das war jetzt aber keine Absicht. Ist selbst umgefallen, gell? Alter Vater? Also, die Ladesequenzen sind doch sehr lange. Wie mein Sugar? Ein römischer Militärkommandant, der versucht, sich von etwas loszureißen. Ein römischer Legionär in Todesangst. Also irgendwas ist da passiert. Was nicht Schönes ist. Was nicht gut ist. Was? Schon noch fast alle gegen den Himmel, ne? Eine Römerin, die um Hilfe zu beten scheint, die nie kam. Achso, die betet. Alles klar. War nicht eben ein Brief da?
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, she'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now. And find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
Oh. Eine goldene Statue eines alten Mannes, der moderne Kleidung trägt. Das muss L sein, aber wie ist das möglich? Hä? Hat sich aufgehängt. Okay. Und ist in Gold. Eingetaucht. Ja. Würdiges Ende, ne? Ja, moin. Ah, was werden wir rausfinden? Ich habe nichts gemacht. Natürlich habe ich nichts gemacht. Immer. Eine junge Römerin in Panik. Ich muss aufpassen, dass ich da nicht gegenrenne, sonst fällt die wieder um. Sind echt empfindlich, die Statuen. Ist deine Zwergenbehausung? Hey, Dango. Nö, irgendwie nicht. Leider. Oh. Was ist das denn hier? Will da nicht rein. Na, egal. Oha. Stargate. B, um im Spiel den Fotos-Modus zu gehen. Okay. Es lädt. Wahrscheinlich. Wende um durch deine Waffen. Okay. Tritt durch den Übergang in die Vergangenheit. Da sind wir. Ein römisches Relief, das ein großes, kreisförmiges Portal und zwei Frauen darstellt. Frage mich, wer sie sein können. So. Okay.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here. We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March? It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the Empire are you from, exactly? Hey, not so loud. Just saying that name could land you in trouble here. If you haven't heard, his cultists burned down half of Rome last year. Horrible business. I heard Nero executed some of them, but a lot of people are still angry with them, even down here. So, if you're one of them, keep it to yourself. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
Höheren Gesetzen?
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
In Ordnung.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her, if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
In Ordnung.
Follow me.
Dann mal hinterher.
The thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it.
Brauchen wir noch nicht mal selber laufen, ist ja
I
cool.
was serving in the Legion. If there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9.
Ugh, this
matter
place
whether
has
he'd done
become a
anything wrong.
thoroughfare.
One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. He's up these stairs.
Okay. Kann ich hier irgendwas mopsen? Kein Loot in dem Spiel. Das ist schon mal schlecht. Oh.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Was? Oh. Was? Darf ich das nicht? Das war doof.
Death arrives. It would be a thing to dread if it could remain with you. Death must either not come at all, or else must come and pass away.
Okay. Nur weil ich jetzt geklaut habe. Oh, aua. Die schießen auf mich. Oh. Aua. Oh, der ist tot. Muss ich da wieder durch? Ich weiß es nicht. Hm. Nee, jetzt bin ich wieder... bin ich wieder am Anfang?
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Seid Galeris und werdet mich gleich anbieten, mich zu Sentius zu bringen. Damit er mehr über die goldene Regel erzählen kann.
Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
Kein Problem, ich muss gehen.
Oh, and since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
Ein Ruder mit Seilrutschlenker aus Holz.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking. And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably.
Danke, ich werde jetzt gehen.
Alright, see you around.
Ah. Wir müssen jetzt zum Magistrat wieder irgendwie, glaube ich. Das ist die Wache.
Fear is proof of it. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. I expect
Worum geht
the
es?
magistrate wants to brief you about the golden rule.
Ach so.
It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today. Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the golden rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the golden rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
Ich bin Grimdorn.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the posture of a military man, though your garments are most peculiar. I pray to Mars your skill set won't be necessary here, but time will tell. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
Sie ist wunderschön.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Das kann ich nicht behaupten.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this This miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
Jo, würde ich auch sagen, Sunny.
An intelligent question. There
Was
was a
zählt
good
hier
deal
als
of
Sünde?
debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob das eine gute Idee ist, was legal ist. Ist nicht immer moralisch und viele eurer Regeln und Brüche werden da, wo ich herkomme, als barbarisch angesehen.
Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
Glauben eures Gesetzes Sklavenbesitz nicht?
Of course. What else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well.
Ganzgallien? Nein, ein kleines Dorf. Sieht sich euer Volk nicht blutige Sportkämpfe zur Unterhaltung an?
On occasion. But our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm.
Haben Frauen nicht weniger Rechte als Männer?
Of course, but with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands.
Verfolgt ihr Christen nicht?
You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome last year? It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that.
Wendet ihr nicht Kollektivbestrafung an?
Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion.
Ja, da wo ich herkomme, gelten diese Dinge als verabscheuenswürdig.
Well, right now, you're along long way from home. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Rose Pina hat euch geschickt. Was soll das heißen?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
Ihr habt recht, ich komme von 2000 Jahren in der Zukunft.
2000 years? That is unfathomable. Please tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us, of this city?
Ihr werdet alle in Goldstatuen verwandelt.
I have imagined it, our downfall,
Lesen ist ja schön.
times, but it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
Wie funktioniert das Ritual?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
Ich habe menschliche Überreste im Tempel gesehen.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
Ich kann nichts versprechen.
Well, thank you for your candor, I suppose.
Warum könnt ihr der Sache nicht selbst nachgehen?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Na gut. Gibt es irgendwelche Verdächtigen?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Woher weiß ich, dass ihr nicht die verantwortliche Person seid?
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you, I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people?
Gutes Argument.
I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
Kommt schon, sagt mir, was ihr wirklich denkt.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
Wie kommt es, dass wir einander verstehen? Ich spreche kein Latein.
You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her.
Toll.
Indeed.
Super. Frag ihn nach Wein und Schweinebraten. Steht da nicht. Als ich das tue, werdet ihr mir helfen, in meine eigene Zeit zurückzukehren?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Denke schon. Das war alles.
Good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule?
Sieht aus, als hätte ich keine Wahl.
Well, I don't suppose you do. But I'm hoping that even if you're not burdened with a sense of self-sacrifice, you'll at least see the sense in self-preservation.
Stimmt, ich bin dabei.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
Na gut, dann fange ich mal an.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Ich werde sehen, was ich tun kann. Ja. Klicke auf Tab, um jederzeit ein Questprotokoll. Okay. Okay. Ah. Da darf man nicht ran anscheinend. Schade. Aber ich glaube, das ist eh nicht mehr da, oder? Doch, tatsächlich. Aha. Nachricht von Centilla. Dankt sich bei Sentius dafür, dass er sie adoptiert hat. Von Centilla an Sentus. Möge Jupiter, Optimus, Maximus euch weiterhin beschützen und leiten. Vielen Dank dafür, dass ihr mich zu eurer Tochter gemacht habt. Und vielen Dank für den entzückenden Geburtstagsanhänger. Ich verspreche, dass ich ihn immer tragen werde. Ich fühle mich so sicher und glücklich, weil ich euch als meinen Vater und Sentia als Schwester habe. Die Wahl im nächsten Monat scheint euch Sorgen zu bereiten, aber wenn ihr den Leuten den starken und vertrauenswürdigen Mann zeigt, den ich kenne, dann werdet ihr zweifellos wiedergewählt werden. Ist ja langweilig, wenn man hier nichts klauen darf. Mensch. Bin ich sofort bestraft.
Oh, don't mind me. I just live here. Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
Was ist eure Geschichte?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
Zaubernd. Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Centilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Kann ich helfen?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
Wann habt ihr sie zuletzt gesehen?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
Sie ging mit jemandem aus?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
Verstehe. Euer Vater hat nichts davon erwähnt, als ich mit ihm gesprochen habe. Wisst ihr warum?
That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done.
Ist es möglich, dass Ihr Liebhaber daran beteiligt war?
I don't know. But it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
Sentius, Sentia, Scintilla, warum ähneln sich eure Namen so sehr?
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest, and my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
Ihr seht erstaunlich entspannt aus, wenn man bedenkt, dass eure Schwester verschwunden ist.
Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy. I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
Ich glaube, ihr wisst etwas, das ihr mir nicht sagt.
Oh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
Oh. Du bist jetzt sauer gemacht, das tut mir aber leid. Wo ist denn er jetzt hin? Toll. Okay, die ist eingeschnappt. Na dann. Geht aber schneller mit dem eingeschnappt sein. Lila Karotten. Diese lila Karotten sind die Vorgänger der modernen orangefarbenen Karotten. Es gab damals lila Karotten? Okay. Wusste ich auch noch nicht. Herd. Es ist zweifellos unangenehm, mit so einer schlechten Belüftung zu kochen. Aber die Römer halten das wahrscheinlich für ein Problem ihrer Diener. Okay. Echt? Habe ich noch nie gesehen. Du siehst mal, was ich wieder Ahnung habe. Wieder was dazugelernt. Flakon. Ein kleiner Flakon, der ein rudimentäres Parfüm aus Blumenöl enthält. Mhm. Da muss ich dann angucken. Super. Eine Skulptur von Ares, dem griechischen Gott des Krieges, unter den Römern als Mars bekannt. Okay. Xenias Tagebuch. Liebes Tagebuch, heute schlug mein Vater vor, ich sollte Tagebuch schreiben, um mich abzulenken, während wir alle mit dem plötzlichen und schrecklichen Verschwinden meiner Schwester zu kämpfen haben. Als pflichtbewusste Tochter werde ich dem natürlich nachkommen. Die folgenden Seiten enthalten meine intimsten Geheimnisse. Ich weiß, dass ihr dies lest, Vater. Ich bin vielleicht jung, aber haltet mich nicht für dumm. Wir haben alle das Recht auf unsere Geheimnisse. Oh. Ah, Lesemodus gibt's hier auch. Cool. Habe ich noch nie von gelesen, noch nie von gehört, noch nie gesehen. Ich bin auch einfach nur blind. Ah, da kann man wieder stehlen. Das ist echt verlockend. Tintenfass. Ein Tintenfass aus Keramik. Die Tinte scheint aus Ruß und Wasser hergestellt zu sein. Aber warum soll ich was inspizieren, wenn da gar nichts ist? Ja. Schön aus. Flakon. Ein kleiner Flakon, der ein rudimentäres... Das hatten wir schon. Echt? Schon nie drauf geachtet. Muss ich mal drauf gucken. Messingspiegel. Gelb, lila, orange. Also ich habe noch... Muss mal echt gucken. Wir haben morgen einkaufen, glaube ich. Muss ich mal nachschauen. Das Messing wurde zu einem rudimentären Spiegel poliert, der beim Auftragen von Make-up eingesetzt wurde. Ja, siehst du mal wieder, war dazugelernter Zwerg. Das ist wieder Parfüm. Ah, lauter toxische Bader.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation?
Wenn wir darüber sprechen, wer die goldene Regel
Of
brechen
course.
wird.
What is it?
Ich glaube, ich weiß, wer es ist. Nee, das weiß ich ja noch gar nicht.
It doesn't matter. It looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask? Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Jetzt muss ich erstmal gucken, wie ich hier rauskomme. Was ist das?
Ah, ich höre dich. Ich höre dich, Statue.
Hä? Die gerade ihren Kopf bewegt? Oder habe ich Halluzinationen?
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation? Of course. What is it? Are you sure you've spent enough time investigating to make that call? It seems to me you've barely had enough time to scratch the surface. It looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now,
Okay,
was
es
there
reicht noch
anything
nicht.
else
Okay,
you wanted
war
to
mir klar.
ask?
Nö.
Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Komme ich an dem vorbei? Ah ja, gut, okay. Gut. Ja, wer sind du? Gladiator.
What were you two talking about? Don't play
Entschuldigung,
dumb.
wie bitte?
I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
Er hat nicht versucht, sich meine Stimme zu erkaufen.
What? You're throwing your lot in with him for free then? That's even worse. Mark my words, Malleolus is gonna be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
Ich hätte nicht daran gedacht, mich einzumischen, aber das sieht nun anders aus.
Oh, you just made a big mistake. Malleolus is gonna hear all about this, and he'll make you suffer the tortures of Tartarus while you're still alive.
Viel Glück dabei.
Stircum Adite.
Bogen mag ich ja gar nicht. Was ist denn das da oben?
On your best
Isn't the
behavior, I
great
trust?
temple majestic?
What
Und
now?
jetzt? Was ist eure Geschichte?
I'm a legionary of the First Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughter, I should say, and the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
Wie seid ihr hier gelandet?
I'm from Lucretia, up north originally. I was doing all right for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Tut mir leid, das zu hören.
Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind, as labor does the body. That said, Scintilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit.
Wisst ihr, was könnt ihr mir über den Magistrat erzählen?
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested.
Kann ich das Bürgerverzeichnis sehen?
I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
Aurelia, Claudia, Lysius. Hindler. Frau von Maloelus. Behauptet, einen Ausweg zu kennen. Ah, Aurelia weiß, wie es rausgeht. Gut. In der Zisterne gestorben. Schwunden, Kabasch. Weigert sich jetzt zu arbeiten. Das könnte ich sein. Hat sich im Palast eingeschlossen. Maloelus nicht vertrauenswürdig. Jesus, wie viel sind denn das? Rufius, zunehmend aufgewühlt. Für ihre Sicherheit auf ihre Villa beschränkt. Sentia, das ist ja, die haben wir schon getroffen. Tilla verschwunden. Ulpius steht in der Schuld von Mario. Das kann sich doch kein Mensch alles merken. Danke.
Of course.
Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
Well, as I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like 100-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it.
Da wo ich herkomme, würde man das als das Kollektivbestrafung nennen.
A war crime. Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent.
Unsere Welten sind sehr verschieden. Na gut, ich komme ja auch aus der Zukunft, moderner und so.
Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous.
Ihr seid also für die goldene
What's
Regel.
done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the Golden Rule, I don't have any control over it. So railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing.
Lasst uns über etwas anderes reden. Wem werdet ihr eure Stimme geben?
Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery, and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator, so people fear and respect him more than they should. Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change.
Kann ich helfen?
I appreciate the thought, but you're new here, and I just can't see how you could make an impact in the time between now and the election this afternoon. In any case, if you're interested in the election, go and have a chat with Equitia, the Vestal Priestess. She'll be overseeing proceedings.
Quita, der Westerpriesterin, sie wird das Verfahren beaufsichtigen, okay?
Alright.
Da stand doch eben noch wer, wo sind die jetzt hin? Hallo?
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Was ist eure Geschichte?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
Wie seid ihr hier gelandet?
Same way as everyone else.
Warum tragt ihr immer noch eure Legionärsrüstung?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Und warum habt ihr dann keine Waffe?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Ihr seid nicht sehr gesprächig, oder?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
Was beschäftigt euch?
None of your business. In Troite ipsum come in Schule.
Ist ja gut. Tschüss.
If we have to.
Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation?
Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people.
Was meint ihr damit?
All these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong, while we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned.
Was glaubt ihr denn, was kommt?
I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
Ich glaube, ihr habt recht, ja, weil ich habe das ja schon gehört, gesehen. Wem werdet ihr eure Stimme geben?
Not sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us?
Tja, das weiß ich auch nicht wirklich.
No.
Will ich euch irgendwie umstimmen? Nein.
Whatever.
Ja, irgendwie ist das alles sehr suspekt, ne? Ja, schon wieder. Brauche eure Hilfe. Darum eine fermentierte Fischsoße, die als Würzmittel verwendet wird. Die verströmt ein schwaches, salziges Aroma. Aha. Eine grobe Keramikschüssel voller Urin. Vielleicht heben Sie ihn für etwas auf, zum Beispiel zum Bleichen von Kleidung. Ugh. Pipi. Die mache ich nicht sauber. Ja, das kann natürlich auch sein, Sunny. Dass die vorher hier gehaust haben, sich schon nicht an die Regel gehalten haben, zu Statuen wurden und sie dann wer oder was auch immer neue Leute organisiert haben. Für was auch immer. Stock mit Schwamm. Kleiner Stock mit einem angebrachten Schwamm. Die Römer haben ihn wohl anstatt von Klopapier benutzt. Es scheint gemeinschaftlich genutzt worden zu sein. Ich sollte ihn sofort zurücklegen. Das glaube ich auch. Wie geht? Toiletten. Öffentliche Gemeinschaftstoiletten. Diese Löcher sind wohl für die Verwendung mit dem Schwamm an einem Stock gedacht. Ja, habe ich schon gesehen. Ja, so war das halt früher. Da gab es noch kein Klopapier. Da haben wir alle da reingeschnubbelt. Naja, haben wir mal die öffentlichen Toiletten gesehen. Sehr schön. Die sind echt schon... Ja, Donnerbalken beim Bund, genau. Springbrunnen, der frisches Wasser produziert. Aber woher könnte das Wasser kommen? Die sind irgendwie alle schon verwandelt, ne? Heiß. Sucht einen Bogen. Schließe mich ein, versucht mich nicht zu folgen. Daraus kann nichts Gutes entstehen. Nee, wir. Wieder der Pfeil, den können wir nehmen. Und jetzt lege ich das Ding an. Der Bogen des Meuchelmörders. Okay. So was für ein Inventory hier? Quests, Inventar. Hier ist Inventar. Ah, das ist auch das Ball. Oh, die Denare habe ich behalten, ne? Die ich geklaut habe. Obwohl ich nochmal rein musste dann. Also für die expliziten Geldfänger dann 20 mal hier anfangen. Aber wo ist denn der Bogen? Hier sind nur die Pfeile. Sucht einen Bogen. Ja, mach mal. Jawohl, Lady. Ich werde dies tun. Stimme des Nordens. Es erinnert mich an den Film, den ich gestern fertig geguckt habe. Kesko, falls du noch da bist. Ich habe ihn fertig geguckt. Shang-Chi. War doch besser, als ich erst angenommen habe. Die erste Hälfte wirkt so ein bisschen so, ui. Hier ist es nicht stehlen. Speicher aber mal. Okay, hier darf ich das Geld nehmen. Okay. Shang-Chi. Gesundheit. Das ist ein Marvel-Film, Sunny. Warte. Sagt mir nichts, hat aber nichts zu heißen. Ja. Ja, nach dem Stream gucke ich ja momentan immer so ein bisschen Film. Wieder. Mal die ganzen Filme nachholen, die ich nicht geguckt habe. Warum rollt man denn hier einen Stein? Okay. Verschlossen. Ah, hier kann ich wieder mit der Seilwinde rumspielen und rüberfahren. Okay. Ist ja nett.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
Mir geht's gut, danke.
Ah, another stoic, perhaps. We all need something to help us through times like these. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned.
Was ist eure Geschichte?
Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose.
Wie seid ihr hier gelandet?
Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place.
Weißt du, was ich glaube, ist das Sunny? Die ist ja auch in den Fluss gefallen und was weiß ich nicht alles. Dass ich eigentlich tot bin. Und das soll jetzt der Himmel sein, oder was? Weil ich bin ja auch in den Fluss gefallen, wie der El. Und die ist auch in den Fluss gefallen. Komisch.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me.
Aber was soll ich denn im Himmel? Berge wie ich gehören in die Hölle.
If you like.
Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
I'm afraid not. Although, I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumors, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then
Nee, oder
I
vielleicht
suppose
sonst.
we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate.
wo wir halt hinkommen. Man weiß es ja nie wirklich, ne? Wird zwar immer gesagt, man kommt in den Himmel und Hölle, bla bla. Aber
I hope it works out.
wäre jetzt so meine erste Vermutung, dass ich eigentlich tot bin.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbors as ourselves and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin. And that's where I get stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin?
So wirkt es auf mich, ja.
If that's true, then sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here. Unless, of course, there's some kind of divine intervention.
Eine Intervention wird es auf jeden Fall geben.
I wish I shared your faith.
Also seid ihr christlich.
Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here, but things are very difficult for us right now. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible.
Aber okay, warum sollte ich dann von 2000 Jahren aus der Zukunft ausgerechnet da landen? Ja, okay. Ja, keine Ahnung, wir werden es rausfinden. Weil Geheimnis ist bei mir sicher.
Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
Ich werde jetzt gehen.
All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing.
Na toll, und ich soll das wissen.
Talk to him.
Glaubt ihr wirklich, dass sein Selbstmord die goldene Regel brechen würde? Ja klar, er hat ja Suizid vorhin gesagt, ne?
I don't know, but it's a crime for slaves to take their own lives. And a debt bondsman isn't far off.
Zumindest der Typi da.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Let me guess. You're going to lecture me on how suicide is a crime against the Empire.
Ich wollte euch gerade fragen, was los ist.
I screwed up my life. That's what's wrong. I borrowed money, and when I couldn't pay it back, I wound up in debt bondage. I'll be stuck slaving away for that Culus Cumulatis Malleolus for the rest of my life. I'm out. Wherever you are, Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no!
Was war jetzt an dem Salz falsch?
I can't believe he went through with it.
Scheiße.
Lord. That poor lamb.
Ich wollte ihm eigentlich helfen, aber naja. Nicht mein Problem. Scheiße.
Well,
Ein Selbstmord hat die goldene Regel nicht gebrochen. Was bedeutet das?
So I guess that means whichever god is responsible for it. It isn't mine.
Was passiert jetzt? Meine Schuld war das nicht, hallo?
I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Sehe ich vielleicht aus wie so ein Psychologe oder so? Ja. Da wenigstens Geld dabei, kann man den looten. Springen? Nicht euer Ernst. Krabbelt mir jetzt ins Ohr, ich soll springen. Was ist das für ein Spiel? Ah, komm, wir springen. Wir machen mit. Hui.
Thank you. I am
Soll?
delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes, thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored.
Dann ist dem doch gar nichts passiert, oder? Oh, der liegt da unten als Matschleiche, ne? Was ist das für ein Spiel? Das ist sehr seltsam.
No more should you walk on eggs. Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above?
Oh, das hat er
That was
mitgekriegt.
Either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me?
Aber wisst ihr, was ich komisch fand? Der ist ja gesprungen. Und unten im Wasser lag ja eine Leiche, die schon Wesen war. Das heißt, also, da war ja nur noch Skelett da. Und den Upilus, die Leiche, haben wir nicht gesehen. Ich jetzt gerade wieder in die Zukunft gehüscht, oder was ist da los? Das ist, komisch.
I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today.
Also unten im Wasser lag ja eine Leiche. Aber die war ja schon geschreddert, die war ja schon älter. Was werdet ihr unternehmen, wenn ihr gewinnen solltet?
I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to
Sehr
this city,
komisch.
just as I've been promising. These good people have suffered long enough under Sentius's tyranny.
Wie wollt ihr das tun?
By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie?
Die goldene Regel ist definitiv real.
Nonsense. There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already.
Auch wenn ich es nicht beweisen kann, wenn ich recht habe, wird dieses Wissen eine Katastrophe abwenden. Wenn ich falsch liege, wird es die Stadt zu einem besseren Ort machen. Ist das nicht eine gute Sache?
I disagree. I'll be guided by what is best for the city's people, and that means giving them the freedom to do as they wish.
Erlebe denselben Tag wieder und wieder. Die goldene Regel wird jedes Mal gebrochen. Wir haben das bisher einmal wieder erlebt, aber okay.
What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer.
Was ist nötig, um euch zu beweisen, dass sie echt ist? Also, Bücher, Notizen.
Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you read. As if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it down.
Wie ich sehe, wird nichts, was ich sage, euch überzeugen. So sieht's aus.
But that is simply because you are mistaken.
Mhm. Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it.
Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
You mean the children's fable exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants?
Ich gehe da mal.
You can see yourself out.
Ja, tschüss.
Through the door this time. There's a key just beside it.
Schlüssel ist direkt daneben. Na, das ist doch mal vorzüglich.
Still here?
Mhm. Schlüssel für die Villa.
Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been
Tschüss.
your magistrate. Yes, thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored.
Da ist wieder der Gladiator, das ist ja seiner.
What's in Coolio Mio?
Er will nicht mit mir reden, okay. Lucretia.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cumulatus decius won't give it to me. It's too late. She just slipped away.
Ich hatte auf ein Gespräch gehofft. Soll ich später wiederkommen?
No, now it's fine. I can't afford to wallow here. And I need the distraction. What's on your mind?
Was ist passiert?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally I'd treat her with resin of Silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath. Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that Silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day, or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututo and scratching his eyes out.
Hallo Dabra.
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
Wie seid ihr hier gelandet?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked, and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
Ja, die wacht auch an dem Flussufer auf, Sunny. Nicht weit von hier. Das ist, Irgendwie schon sehr seltsam. Ich glaube, das ist der Fluss des Todes, wo wir aufwachen.
It's alright. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet
Aber warum da diese goldene Regel? Das verstehe ich noch nicht.
Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense. Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good too, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying, but I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside.
Das ist die, die sich im Palast eingeschlossen hat
She's been
oben.
gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain.
Wer?
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Ich werde sehen, was ich tun kann. Nur die Zielmarkierung. Achso, da kann man die priorisieren lassen. Okay.
Thanks, I suppose.
Finde eine Behandlung für Rheuma. Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
I wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
Ich finde das Spiel ja wirklich interessant. Die Geschichte ist mal was ganz anderes. Ja, es ist auf jeden Fall interessant. Ich meine, ich spiele so Spiele eher selten, aber bisher ist es interesting. Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
Ich höre ständig die Statuen flüstern. Ist das normal?
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad. Well, she used to run the clinic.
Das hat man doch eben
She was a
schon.
midwife, not a physician.
Erzählt
But
mir
she
mehr
was
über
the closest
Naevia.
thing we had down here. And she was good too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain.
Hat fort.
He's become so irritable that the
Ja gut,
smallest
das haben wir
thing
alles schon
set him
gehabt
off,
eben.
and I worry he'll
Hm.
end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace. Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you. Let me know how you go.
Mhm. Medizinische Werkzeuge. Eine Sammlung barbarisch aussehender medizinischer Utensilien, darunter Zangen und Scheren. Mörser und Stößel. Haben sich in den letzten 2 Jahrtausenden nicht sehr verändert.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Fremdling. Keine Gegenstände. Oh, ich wollte schon wieder stibitzen. Hoppla. Leibbrot. Ein runder Brotleib, der einzelne Stücke geteilt werden kann. Der in einzelne Stücke geteilt werden kann. Steht offenbar jedem frei zur Verfügung, der möchte. Kann man den sogar nehmen? Ja, gehör mit dem Brot. Aber zu essen. Eine Steinmühle. Offenbar werden von oben Mehl und Getreide hineingefüllt und dann zwischen den Steinen gemahlen, wenn die Griffe gedreht werden. Ein einfaches Rezept zum Brotbacken. Was steht da hinten? Achso, das ist die Durchschrift wahrscheinlich. Achso, die andere Seite. Hä? Ja. Tjup. Ach, schon wieder. Ich soll ja einen Bogen finden. Ich habe noch keine Ahnung, wo ich einen Bogen finden soll. Und was das mir bringt. Es gibt keine Map, glaube ich. Ah. Ah. Oh, was ist das denn hier? Knast? Juckt wer im Knast?
Hello? Hello?
Was ist eure Geschichte?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up.
Was habt ihr getan?
No. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Vermutet jemand, dass ihr stehlen würdet?
Yes. But I wasn't. I was just looking.
Ist das alles?
They said I did it. More than once. But I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy.
Eine lästige Pflicht?
Yes. They said I have to live here now and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Lesemodus. Magistrat Sentius Andulius, ich schreibe euch hinsichtlich eures unbesserliches antisozialen Verhaltens, was aus eurer Besessenheit von einem sogenannten verlorenen Schatz rührt. Fühle mit eurer Notlage und dem Ableben eures Vormunds, Hannibal, vor einigen Wochen mit. Doch ich muss euch eine wichtige Nachricht überbringen. Der Schatz, den ihr sucht, existiert nicht. Durch eure Gedächtnisschwierigkeit liegt es nahe, dass ihr euch einfach falsch erinnert habt. Vielmehr, da ihr bei verschiedenen Anlässen widerrechtliche Orte betreten habt, einschließlich der Umgebung der Zisterne, die für alle Bürger untersagt ist, bin ich widerwillig zu dem Schluss... Zu dem Schluss gekommen, dass ihr eine Gefährdung für die Gemeinschaft darstellt und eure Freiheit eingeschränkt werden muss. Solltet ihr die goldene Regel brechen. Ich hoffe, dass dieser Brief euch dabei hilft zu verstehen, warum ihr inhaftiert wurdet, falls ihr zukünftig weitere Gedächtnislücken erleiden solltet.
What does it say?
Steht, dass sie euch mehrmals beim Einbruch erwischt und eingesperrt haben, um euch davon abzuhalten, die goldene Regel zu brechen.
My treasure.
Schlaf gut, Keskor. Schön, dass du da warst. Gute Nacht. Was für ein Schatz.
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said, if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
Wenn ihr mir den Schlüssel gebt, kann ich versuchen herauszufinden, was er aufschließt.
Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Der Magistrat hat euch nicht ohne Grund hierher entsandt.
You're mean. I don't like you.
Oh. I don't like you. Scheiße. Falsche Antwort. Tja, was soll ich mit Halunken machen? Und jetzt kriege ich den Schlüssel halt wieder. Nee. Kein Schatz für Grimmi. Ich habe mir schon fast gedacht, dass er beleidigt ist. Was soll's? Sunny. Aber ich glaube, hier in dem Spiel geht es nicht um Reichtum anzuhäufen, sondern um einen Grund der goldenen Regel zu finden. Weil ich glaube, Reichtum im Tal der Toten bringt ja auch nichts. Wenn es das wirklich so ist. Der Mythos der goldenen Regel von Duratus dem Jüngeren. Wie es unser Brauch ist, werde ich damit beginnen, den Gott, der für diese Stadt verantwortlich ist, meinen Respekt zu erweisen. Für den anhaltenden Wohlstand und die friedliche Abgeschiedenheit, die er für uns geschaffen hat, verdient er unsere Hochachtung. Doch hier muss ich vom Brauch abweichen, denn sein Versuch, uns solch strenge Regeln aufzuerlegen, ist erdrückend und übergriffig und sollte mit Verachtung gestraft werden. Wer hier ist nicht eines Nachts mit Angstschweiß bedeckt aufgewacht, weil die goldene Regel möglicherweise aus Versehen gebrochen wurde. Wir müssen alle einsehen, dass wir Fehler machen können, sei es infolge eines Fehlurteils oder wegen einer bewussten Entscheidung basierend auf einer falschen Schlussfolgerung. Doch die große Bedrohung, das Damoklesschwert, unter dem wir leben, ist, glaube ich, nur eine Täuschung und ich werde es euch beweisen. Lasst mich damit beginnen, die Gegenargumente zurückzuweisen. Auf den ersten Blick könnte man argumentieren, dass die Inschriften, die besagen, die vielen werden für die Sünden des einen leiden, ein Beweis dafür sind, dass die goldene Regel in der Tat existiert. Dies kann aus logischer Sichtweise allerdings nicht nachgewiesen werden, denn wir können nicht annehmen, dass die Verfasser mehr wussten als wir. Aber ich mache mich jetzt auch ab. Viel Spaß euch noch und startet morgen gut. Ebenfalls, Bischof, gute Nacht, kommt gut in die Woche. Da diese Botschaft niedergeschrieben wurde, macht sie nicht wahr, genauso wenig, wie wenn ich aufschreiben würde, du Rotas, der Jünger ist ein Gott. Zweitens kann man argumentieren, dass die Statuen an diesem Ort ein Beweis dafür sind, dass die goldene Regel real ist. Man brauchte mich nicht zu erinnern. Ich war es, der sie überall in dieser Stadt entdeckt hat. Ich war es, der sie sammelte, in einen Handkarren packte und sie in die Nischen stellte, in denen sie heute stehen. Ich werde sie nicht so schnell vergessen, und doch weigere ich mich, zu dem Schluss zu kommen, dass sie einst echte Menschen waren. Es gibt einfach keine Beweise, die diese Schlussfolgerung unterstützen. Wenn wir die Geschichte von der Venus lesen, die Pygmalions Skulptur Calathea zum Leben erweckt, glauben wir auch nicht, dass sie weiß. Warum sollten wir hier eine andere Ansicht vertreten? Letzten Endes sind es aber eben nur Argumente. Nach all den Jahren, die ich in Furcht gelebt habe, kann ich nur eins tun, um zu beweisen, dass die goldene Regel eine Lüge ist. Handeln. Freunde, ich entschuldige mich hierfür im Voraus, aber eines Tages werdet ihr diesen Moment als Wendepunkt in der Geschichte unserer Stadt sehen. Lasst uns ein für alle Mal erfahren, ob die goldene Regel echt ist, indem ich einen von euch mit meiner Faust schlage. Der Boeing. Und da sitzt du nun, ne? Ja, läuft ja bei dir. Die Tochter ist schon beleidigt und redet nicht mehr mit mir. Der Dalius, der eine Typ, sein Leibwächter, vom Magaleus oder wie der hieß, redet auch schon nicht mit mir. Und jetzt redet der Gefangene auch nicht. Wer wird mich führen? Naela vielleicht? Und der Gefangene redet nicht mehr mit mir. Das ist in Ordnung. Dann redet halt nicht mit mir. In Ordnung. Was steht da hin? Ist hier runter? Oha, wo sind wir denn hier? Ich könnte ihn ja einfach erschießen, den Gefangenen. Sunny, und dann kriege ich den Schlüssel. Wollen wir das mal probieren? Holzschnitzerei. Eine Holzschnitzerei, die in das Symbol eines Fischers eingraviert ist. Die sieht aus, als könnte sie religiöser Natur sein. Warum habe ich eine Knarre eigentlich dabei? Mit 10 Schuss. Totaler Quatsch. Steinscheibe. Darf ja hier wahrscheinlich keine Verbrechen begehen. Ja, deswegen. Ne? Oh, hier, guck mal, hier würde ich ihn stehlen. Ein Teil zum gegessener Brotleib, er ist noch frisch, wenn auch immer gehört. Derjenige ist wahrscheinlich nicht fertig damit. Tür verschlossen. Oha, da hockt jemand. Ja, Dabra, ich kann dir gerne mal was zeigen, was passiert, wenn du klaust oder sonst irgendwas. Obwohl, es dann eigentlich wieder von vorne an. Hier würde ich zum Beispiel nur nehmen. Hier würde ich nichts stehlen. Dann verwandelst du dich, dann verfolgen dich nämlich so goldene Wächter und du musst zum Portal und fängst wieder von vorne an. Sind von innen holen nichts wert, Dabra. Genau. Das ist auch nur eine Goldglasur. Kommt bestimmt aus der Toilette. Wir können es ja mal spaßeshalber probieren, was passiert, aber dass wir das mal zeigen können. Ich speichere natürlich vorher ab. Was passiert, wenn wir ein Verbrechen begehen? Ja? Kann ich das einfach mal ganz kurz zeigen? Wir laden halt einfach neu an. Was passiert, wenn ich den jetzt einfach abknall?
How did you fit?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
So, und jetzt muss ich wieder zum Portal, ne? Fängst du wieder ganz von vorne an, glaube ich. Ja? Also hier darfst du nicht einfach rumballern und alles klauen und... So vergessen. Aber die Notiz habe ich vorher noch nicht gesehen. I did not do it, Dully. Man könnte es sozusagen wieder zurücksetzen, damit dann man durchs Tor geht, ne? Könnte man vielleicht nochmal mit ihm reden und ihm versuchen zu helfen. Aber ich befürchte, dass wir dann nochmal alles machen müssen. Müssen hier irgendwo so Bogenschützen rumlaufen, die mich abschießen. Oder auch nicht. Ja, da ist auch schon wieder was. Magistrat Sentius. Durchsuchen. Das war ja der, dem ich das gesagt habe, ne? Und dann gehst du da durch. Und dann bist du wieder am Anfang. Könnte ich ja jetzt rein theoretisch nochmal mit dem regeln, Sunny? Und das wollen wir fangen jetzt. Ja. Oh, die Quest ist auch wieder. Oh, scheiße, es wird gespeichert. Ist mein Save-Stand weg. Okay. Warte mal. Quests haben wir alle noch. Interessant. Und jetzt sind wir wieder am Anfang. Ja, also von daher wären wir jetzt wieder bei. Das ist schon nicht 0.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange. Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you, and what were you doing in the shrine? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
Jetzt gehen wir zu ihm hin und helfen ihm. Ja, also die Möglichkeit hast du natürlich auch zu sagen, okay, ich resette das mal. Ja, wenn du das resetten willst, nicht. Jetzt weiß ich bloß nicht mehr, wo der war. Jetzt stehen auf einmal andere Leute hier. Hier war ich doch eben gerade, oder? Ich bin verwirrt. Die vielen werden für die Sünden des einen leiden. Okay. Aber die stand doch eben noch nicht da hier an dem Markt. War ich hier nicht schon?
Ah, a fellow traveler from a great.
Egal.
I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
Meine Nation gibt es noch nicht. Ihr würdet mir nicht glauben, wenn ich das so sagen würde.
And now you have me more intrigued than before. But since it appears you do not wish to share, I will wait until we are better friends. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
Was ist eure Geschichte?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Warum hier eine Schneiderei eröffnen?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Ja, mehr oder weniger.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Na klar, ich nehme es mir an.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
Ja, Dabra, ne? Ist dann wenigstens ordentlich gekleidet. Ihr war genau mein Ding, bin immer brav. Oh ja, genau. Mhm.
A good
Wie seid ihr hier
question.
gelandet?
A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Warum erzählt ihr mir nicht, an was ihr euch erinnert?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
Auch den Fluss. Auch im Fluss gelandet.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. Anything you like.
Wie kommt man hier raus?
Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Habe ich was Falsches gesagt?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
Den letzten Versuch?
Then I suppose this duty falls to me. It is a long story.
Es ist ja nicht so, dass ich irgendwo hingehen würde. Ja.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
Das lässt sich einrichten. Warum hat das noch niemand gemacht?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place, and so I say it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
Alles klar, vielen Dank. Was haltet ihr denn von der goldenen Regel?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Warum sagt ihr das?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The golden rule has merely brought it into focus.
Was können wir dagegen tun?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Leichter gesagt als getan.
Regrettably, I think you are correct, my friend. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
Ich weiß, ich habe gesehen, wie es passiert.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Er immer mit seiner Kleidung für die Statuen. Wem werdet ihr eure Stimme geben?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Kann ich euch irgendwie umstimmen? Dieser Domitius, also dieser Gladiator, scheint hier alle irgendwie so ein bisschen zu beeinflussen.
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
Und du kannst niemanden umstimmen.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Oha. Ja, der guckt mich schon wieder an. Ich werde noch wahnsinnig mit diesen Statuen hier. Guten Tag.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to our little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil.
Ich glaube auch, Dango. Was ist eure Geschichte?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Erzählt mir etwas über die Geschichte der Stadt.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
Ist es nicht üblich, dass die Römer griechische Kunst und Architektur nachbilden?
Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Erzählt mir etwas über die Architektur der Stadt.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take
Ja, das habe ich auch schon die ganze Zeit gedacht. Dango.
the city and distributed all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
That's how when I speak English too. Ja? Sounds, nee, das klingt echt komisch. So diese Aussprache von ihm. Wenn sie Wasser in die Stadt bringen, könnten wir sie zur Flucht nutzen.
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Herausfinden, wie man in die oberste Zisterne gelangt. Okay. Erzählt mir vom Tempel auf der Klippe.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, It's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Das ist wie, als wenn sie einen Frischling in die Voice-Geschichte reingesetzt hätten. So, weißt du, so fühlt sich das an, so ein Praktikant. Könnte ein Deutscher sein, der bitte. Ja, ich vermute mal, dass das vielleicht ein Neuling ist. Von der Sprache, von der von den Voice-Actern. Ja, dass der vielleicht nur erst frisch in der Szene ist. So klingt er zumindest.
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'd tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the Golden Rule, but once you get used to the
oder
fear,
so, Dango.
knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
Was meint ihr damit?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
Ach, du warst das. Ja gut, okay, aber... Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care.
Ah, wie der das ausspricht, so wrong to you.
Either you don't know the difference between
Wow.
right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
Ich glaube ja. Bin mir nicht sicher.
Fair enough.
Mir ist das Graffiti aufgefallen. Warum hält man euch für einen Sünder?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
Ihr mögt Männer.
Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Ja, da war eben gerade, hast du gesagt, dass du das gesprochen hast. Also bist du doch der Mann, der auf Männer steht. Wir können uns daran erinnern, dass du schon Sex mit einem Opa in Pillars of Eternity hattest. Von daher... Warum sollte ich vor dir wegrennen? Tut mir leid, das zu hören.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Wisst ihr, wer für das Graffiti verantwortlich ist?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Kultist?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that He considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Ich werde der Sache nachgehen.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
Ich werde sehen, was ich tun kann. Dem werdet ihr eure Stimme geben.
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision.
Kann ich euch irgendwie umstimmen?
My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
Nice to talk to you.
Kannst du dir vorstellen, wie viele Stimmen jetzt schon für den einen stimmen, der gegen diese göttliche Regel ist? Warum die dann alle zu Statuen werden? Isius sieht beschäftigt aus, ich sollte später mit ihm reden. Okay.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
Der hat einen Bogen?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
Regel, ich weiß, wer ihr seid und was ihr wollt. Kehrt von diesem Weg ab, bevor wir alle für euch eure Sünden leiden. Schaufel. Eine römische Feuerschaufel aus Bronze. Sie riecht nach Asche. Amboss. Ein römischer Amboss. Ohne Horn sieht er seltsam aus, aber muss eine moderne Innovation sein. Junge, du kannst Bogen machen? Gib mir einen Bogen. Aha. Vielleicht ist... Ah, hier. Ich sehe euch. Sie sehen euch vielleicht noch nicht, aber ihr solltet eines wissen. Ich sehe euch. Okay. Gib mir deinen Bogen, ich gebe dir meinen. Blasebalg. Ein Blasebalg, der genutzt wurde, um die Luft in den Ofen zu blasen und so die Hitze zu erhöhen. Mhm. Okay. Du machst Bögen?
Any news about my secret admirer?
Noch nicht, ich bin noch dabei, es zu
that's
prüfen.
all right. I'm sure it'll take time. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Nice to talk to you.
Okay, von dem könnten wir irgendwie den Sünder einen Bogen bekommen. Eventuell. Möglicherweise.
How'd you do? Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius.
Asius. Auch etwas Silphiumharz. Ach, der hat das, genau.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii.
1000 Denare. Macht lebensrettende Medikamente fast unbezahlbar. Was stimmt nicht mit euch?
Oh, it's perfectly legal. Simply a question of supply and demand, I'm afraid. Take it or leave it.
Ich nehme an.
Hear what?
Egal.
You sure you're feeling all right? If you're hearing things, perhaps you should pay a visit to Lucretia's clinic. We don't want another Navia on our hands.
Was ist mit Navia passiert?
She claimed the statues were whispering to her. Nobody else could hear it. Then she shut herself in the palace and we never heard from her again. But I digress. Do you want this Silphium or not?
Woher soll ich denn 1000 Denare nehmen?
That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years?
Wie wäre es, wenn ich es stattdessen einfach nehme. Oh Gott, dann ist er wieder sauer und redet gar nicht mehr mit mir.
Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget?
Was ist eure Geschichte?
You mean, how did I end up here?
Deal das Silphium-Erz. Ach du Scheiße.
All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave. Fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
Hm. Ich hab das Mädchen gewählt, richtig?
The girl? Weren't you listening? All my valuables or the girl? I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
Da landete wieder einer. Okay, also habt ihr sie schließlich doch mitgenommen.
No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin.
Klingt, als hättet ihr bekommen, was ihr verdient
I
habt.
couldn't agree more. I mean, sure, I'd lost a few thousand denarii, but I've already made it back, and this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here.
Wisst ihr, wie man hier rauskommt?
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking.
Wirklich? Das ist mir gar nicht aufgefallen.
Oh yeah, gotta watch out. Old Dacius has got your back though.
Der oberzwilligste Mensch überhaupt hilft mir, den Rücken freizuhalten. Ist klar. Was haltet ihr von der goldenen Regel?
Inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk.
Hat der Magistrat nicht ein Waffenverbot erlassen?
Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet.
Ich werde sehen, was ich tun kann. Aber den Bogen brauche ich auch. Aber den behalte ich dann. Habt ihr eine Ahnung, von wem Virgil bedroht wird?
I don't, I'm afraid. But I did overhear Fabia telling Georgius she saw something. She was headed to the baths not long ago.
Dem werdet ihr eure Stimme geben.
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Not gonna happen.
Ja. Die wollen alle den anderen.
Another time.
Außer die Leibwache, glaube ich. Ist ja. Alle wollen sie jemand anderen haben.
Help! You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
Habt ihr eine Ahnung von... Erstmal gemütlich unterhalten hier, mitten im Feuer. Eine Ahnung, von wem Virgil bedroht wird?
Are you serious? This is an emergency. Are you going to help or not?
Ich werde mich umgehend darum kümmern.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
So? Vielleicht sollten wir uns nicht da drin treffen.
We don't have time for this. I have to go.
Vergesst es. Ich weiß nicht, warum ich das gesagt habe.
The shrine is collapsing.
Oh, wow. Ich konnte sie aber nicht abhalten, dass sie da reingeht. Oha. Das war ich nicht. Lichter.
Oh God, she's dead. Did anyone see that? The whole shrine just collapsed on her. Oh, Fabia, why did you have to go in there? Poor sweet girl. I can't believe she is dead. Fabia, I mean. She walked into that empty shrine, and the next moment she is lying dead under a pile of rubble. The gods are cruel and unjust. She was like a daughter to me. I'm sorry, friend. It's not right for me to lay my burden upon you.
Ja. Hier ist eine Nachricht. Schrein kann jeden Moment einstürzen. Wow, steht sogar da. Ja, Mädel. Gut, der Zettel war wahrscheinlich zu klein. Boah, lauter Statuen. Geht weg. Oha.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Ich kenne keinen Quintius. Quinctius.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood?
Ich schwöre, ich habe nicht gelogen.
You are not off to a good start. When I ask you a question, I expect an answer. Is that understood? Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place?
Warum nehmt ihr nicht diesen Bogen runter und kommt rein, um euch selber zu überzeugen?
Oh, how very welcoming of you. You want me to let my guard down, is that it? You're not going to get your claws into me. I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
Das ist ein seriöser Kult. Augenblick.
Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius did, those days are numbered.
Ihr irrt euch, wir sind keine Kultisten.
You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go to such great lengths to keep this place a secret?
Wir halten es nicht geheim, wir sind alle hier gefangen.
So you admit you're not allowed to leave.
Problem ist nicht, dass wir nicht gehen dürfen, wir können nicht. Es gibt keinen Weg hier raus.
Threatening me is not going to help you. But in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me. And I saw the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe?
Das ist kein Mantra, es ist eine Warnung.
A distinction without a difference. You've
Aber ich glaube, dem kann ich eher erzählen, was ich will.
into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues?
Waren einst Menschen, die zur Strafe in Goldstatuen verwandelt wurden.
You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me.
Wir haben sie nicht in Gold verwandelt. Ihr verdreht meine Worte.
Yes, yes, because I'm the real villain here. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists, there's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quintius is. Do not waste it. Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process.
Woher wisst ihr, dass Rom in Brand gesetzt hat?
All I know, all I care about, is that the Emperor believes he is guilty and wants him dead. The details are not my concern.
Ah ja klar, bisschen Meuchelmörder,
This is
kriegst die
your
Kohle.
last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
Es würde euch nicht helfen, selbst wenn ich wüsste, wo er ist.
Then you're of no use to me. Do you have any last words?
Ich hab gesagt, ihr würdet mich nicht töten, wenn ich euch die Wahrheit sage. Ah gut, das bringt wahrscheinlich auch nichts. Wenn ihr diesen Pfeil abfeuert, werden alle hier sterben. Glaubt er mir sowieso nicht. Scheiße. Ihr wisst doch noch nicht mal, was eine Pistole ist.
You'd squander your last words on an empty threat. Now it's my turn to tell you something. Once I'm done with you and Quintius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ja. Diese Wachen schießen dann auf mich. Tja, ich weiß nicht, was ich dem hätte sagen sollen, dass er nicht geschossen hätte. Ich glaube, der hätte mir eh nichts geglaubt. Von daher... Ab durchs Portal. Es ist ein komisches Spiel. Aber irgendwie auch interessant. Und ich habe noch nicht eine Quest, glaube ich, erledigt. Eieiei.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
Tja. Das Lustige oder das Interessante ja ist, ne? Ich kann jetzt in den Stall laufen, das klauen und dann fangen wir wieder von vorne an. Das Zeug habe ich ja trotzdem. Ja, also es ist ja nicht so, dass ich das Zeug verliere. Also wenn ich jetzt dieses Harz da unbedingt haben will, dann klaue ich das halt. Ja? Es ist schon ein sehr, sehr stranges Spiel. Aber ich glaube, Sunny gefällt's. Und das ist wichtig. Also mir gefällt's auch. Ja? Nicht so, dass ich das nicht... So, jetzt können wir ihm mal versuchen zu helfen.
Hello?
Kennt mich ja nicht mehr.
Have we met before?
Ich denke mal, damit habe ich's... So, reden wir über euren Schatz, das wissen wir ja schon.
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. And he said he always would. But then
Was sagt der
he
Rest?
died.
Gut, gell?
It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns. But when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me. Except my friend Galerius. And Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady. Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
Lasst mich mit dem Magistrat darüber reden, euch hier rauszuholen.
Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what.
Dann ist es vielleicht an der Zeit, dass wir einen neuen Magistrat bekommen.
Like Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here, and I can give you the key to my treasure. Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was, just that it was way up high and very precious.
Den Rest haben wir ja schon gequatscht mit ihm. Oha. Okay, das Interesse am Spiel ist nicht so groß. Okay. Alle schon im Bett? So. Das macht nichts.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Das müssen wir erstmal wieder zurück. Warte mal. Oh. Ah, scheiße, falscher Weg. Ich glaube, wenn du ganz tot bist, kannst du ganz von vorne anfangen. Okay, das kann man später machen. Jetzt müssen wir erstmal hier raus. Ja, Sunny, so ist das halt, ne? Ja, danke, dass du noch da bist, das weiß ich. Und vielleicht noch 3 Lurker. Uah, scheiße, was mache ich denn da? Das ist nicht schlimm. Ist ja gewohnt. Deswegen habe ich auch die Hoffnung aufgegeben, jemals Partner zu werden, genau aus dem Grund. Weil ich komme noch nicht mal im Generellen über den 20er Schnitt. Ich schrumpfe ja schon wieder. Der Schnitt war bei New World mal so bei 25 und jetzt bin ich wieder bei 15. Das habe ich schon lange aufgegeben. Von daher. Egal. Viel dazu, was ich Bock habe. Es ist mir wurscht.
Who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
Ja, irgendwann gibt es halt auf, Sunny. Darüber nachzudenken. Ist halt so. Ich meine, ich mache das jetzt 5 Jahre, sonst ich mal an. Jetzt in Richtung 6. Jahr und keinerlei Chancen.
What are you
Und
doing
ich weiß nicht, woran es liegt.
Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cumulatus decius won't give it to me. What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this.
Das ist cool, durch das Zurückspulen kann ich die retten. Sehr nice.
Hopefully in a moment she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing and at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
Ehrlich, ihr würdet mir nicht glauben, wenn ich euch sagen würde.
Ah, look. If you don't want to tell me, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. But no matter. That was like the gods hearing my prayers and intervening. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
Können wir über Julia sprechen?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Glaubt ihr, sie wurde vergiftet oder das war selbstverschuldet?
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Okay.
Gladly.
Gut.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Julia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
Oh, sie lebt, das ist doch gut. Hey, warte mal. Nee. Wieder ist es.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
Könnt ihr mir sagen, was euch widerfahren ist?
As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me, it's just not safe for me to talk about it. Please, no more questions.
Wisst ihr gerne, wie jemand euch vergiften konnte, ohne die goldene Regel zu brechen?
The golden rule. That's the least of my worries. The gods may be cruel, but Malleolus and Claudia are far crueler.
Haben sie euch vergiftet?
Please, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
Ich kann euch nicht helfen, wenn ihr mir nicht sagt, was geschehen ist.
Persistent as Nemesis, aren't you? I can tell you, but it's a long saga.
Alle Zeit der Welt.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
Warum sollte euch so viel Geld leihen?
I had to sign an agreement saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock.
Das ist chilling.
It's a deadly poison made from a plant. Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only, he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
Das hätte doch sicherlich die goldene Regel gebrochen.
That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa. Confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She sent me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing. My hemlock.
Ah, ich verstehe. Also habt ihr euch selbst vergiftet?
I just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
Tut mir sehr leid, das zu
I
hören.
brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
Wie geht es jetzt für euch
When
weiter?
I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
Tut mir leid, kann ich euch irgendwie helfen?
I doubt it. It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Huh. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
Ich habe eine bessere Idee. Wie viel würde es kosten, eure Freiheit
A
zu
lot.
erkaufen?
But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night.
Stimmt, den könnte ich auch noch
He's in
aufhalten.
exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus and Aurelia set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now.
Ah.
If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
Vielleicht kann ich ihm auch
I
helfen.
doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
Ich werde mich umgehend darum kümmern, ja. Dann gucken wir mal, ob wir dem noch von einem Sprung abhalten können.
Keep you safe.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Muss ich bloß wissen, wie kam ich da wieder hin? Oder da sein Sprung des Todes macht. Ich glaube hier lang. Ne, hier ist die Villa vom Senat.
If you're trying to goad me into an argument, it won't work.
Hier lang? Hier lang.
Isn't the great temple majestic? A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Tut mir leid. Was hätte ich tun sollen?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Wie seid ihr hier gelandet?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
Eine junge Frau namens Karen hat mich bewusstlos aus einem Fluss gezogen und mich dann hierher geschickt.
And nothing about that name seemed odd to you. Older. I see. I wonder if... No.
Was wollt ihr sagen?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
In Ordnung, das mache ich.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
Mir ist eventuell bereits ein Muster aufgefallen, ja, und dass alle im Fluss liegen. Was ist mit Livia passiert?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
Mir ist eventuell bereits ein Muster aufgefallen.
You have? Then what is it?
Manche sprachen von einer Münze, von einem Fluss.
Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
Manche sprachen von einer Münze.
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do
Die Münze
tend
für
to
den
carry
Fährmann?
coins on our person, don't we? What else?
Wenn sie schon über Hades geredet haben. Vielleicht die Münze für den Fährmann.
That's true. I
Gedächtnislücken.
know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes? I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
Sie hat einen Kapuzenpullover getragen. Woher wisst ihr das?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Also hängen wir hier doch irgendwo fest. Aber warum? Hier ist es nicht sicher. Ein Meuchelmörder ist gerade eingetroffen.
What? How could you know that? And why are you talking to me instead of doing something about it? Please, go and stop him and come back to me once we're no longer in danger.
Ja, den muss ich wahrscheinlich erschießen, ne? Habe ich noch Muni? Ja gut. Jetzt versuchen wir erstmal den... Muss ich erstmal da hinten hochkommen, irgendwie. Warte mal. Hier ist das mit dem Bogen. Hier brauche ich den Bogen für. Warum? Oder ich brauche den für den Meuchelmörder. Das kann auch sein. Als man sich mit keiner Pistole bewaffnet. Am Anfang, ne? So wie ich. Könnte man... So. Den Bogen. Das ist auch immer wieder drin. Das ist ja lustig. Finde ich gut. Oder? Ja, das kann... Stimmt. Auch eine Möglichkeit. Sogar eine sehr gute Idee. Einfach erschießen, den Bogen klauen. Dann die Herz drauf. Läuft. So. Junge, nicht springen.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not?
Geh mir mal aus dem Weg.
How are you faring so far? All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please, please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Ist das, was Sentila wollen würde?
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone.
Ihr würdet mich nicht glauben, wenn ich es euch sagen würde.
Well, if you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over.
Vielleicht kann ich eure Probleme lösen.
It's too late for that. Julia and I made a pact. And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that. Oh, really? That changes things a little. but we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
2000. Könnt ihr wohl das nötige Geld aufbringen, wenn ihr mir genug Zeit gibt?
No.
Oh?
No. Time's up. I'm out.
Ach
Wherever
nee.
you are, Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Orpheus, no!
Okay, kommen wir wieder, wenn wir 2000 Denare haben.
I can't believe he went through with it.
Äh.
Oh Lord. That poor lamb. That was not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived. I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own making, after all. And I'd best pray for poor Ulpius.
Das Spiel macht mich fertig. Das heißt, ich muss da 20 Mal an dieser Truhe vorbei. Oder 10 Mal?